My golden child brother tried to ruin my wedding. My fiancée got revenge. I've always lived in my brother Marcus's shadow. He was the golden child, the one everyone praised, the best grades, student council president, sports awards, and so on. Meanwhile, I was just the younger brother, overlooked and always in his shadow. Every Christmas followed the same pattern in our childhood. Marcus would get the original Lego sets, while I got cheap knockoffs. In my teenage years, he'd get a new computer for studying, and I'd inherit his old one just to play games. When phones became normal in high school, Marcus got a sleek Motorola Razr, while I made do with a basic Nokia, just for calling mom. No matter what, mom always had an excuse for him. If he failed an important test, it was because he was exhausted from extra classes. If he crashed dad's car, it was because he was upset about breaking up with his girlfriend. But if I won a school competition, it must have been an easy one that year. Dad always seemed to invest everything in Marcus, tutors, sports clubs, and even music school, which he quit after a month. When it came time for graduation, Marcus got a used BMW, because your first car should be prestigious, while I got dad's old Ford, only because Marcus had upgraded. After school, Marcus went to business school, the future entrepreneur. I ended up in logistics, at least it was a free scholarship. He partied at student events, while I worked as a warehouse loader after classes. 5 years after graduation, the picture became clear. Marcus opened a restaurant with our parents' money and a loan from his father-in-law. Meanwhile, I worked my way up from junior manager to regional director at an international company. Yet at family gatherings, the conversation always centered around Marcus's entrepreneurial talent. The pattern continued in our relationships. Marcus married Victoria, the daughter of a major distribution network owner. Their wedding was lavish, and her parents gifted them a honeymoon house. Mom never tired of talking about her successful older son. Then I met Olivia. It happened at a corporate event. Our companies were working on a joint project. She was a lawyer, but not one of those pretentious corporate sharks. She was smart, had a great sense of humor, and knew how to listen. For the first time in ages, I felt important. We started dating, and it turned out we shared a love for old movies, 1,000-piece puzzles, and Thai food. She didn't try to be perfect, she just was herself. After a year, I proposed, and she said yes before I could even finish asking. But problems started at our engagement party. Marcus wasn't as happy in his marriage anymore. Victoria had become completely focused on social status, endless charity events, social gatherings, and photo shoots for local magazines. Their marriage had turned into a well-choreographed Instagram show, and Marcus was trapped. A divorce would mean losing her father's connection and destroying his business. Everyone knew that Marcus's restaurant success was only possible because of his father-in-law's contracts. Olivia, on the other hand, was the complete opposite of Victoria. Instead of attending social events, we spent quiet evenings reading books. Instead of Instagram photo shoots, she was working on complex legal cases. We had deep conversations about life, and I started to notice that Marcus was looking at her differently. It began with coincidental meetings. He started showing up at the same coffee shop near her office, attending professional events where she was speaking. Then he found a reason to regularly contact her, inviting her law firm to bid on a contract for his restaurants. It makes sense to keep it in the family, he told our parents. After they won the bid, things accelerated. He started scheduling weekly meetings to discuss the contract. Calls became later in the evening, and the messages started getting more personal. "You're too smart for my brother. With your talent, you deserve someone more ambitious," he told her. Olivia, however, wasn't fooled. She recorded every conversation, saved every message, and screenshot every call after 10 p.m. "He thinks he's playing me," she said, "but he doesn't understand who he's dealing with." At family dinners, Marcus would sit next to Victoria, hug her, and talk about their future plans, all while under the table, sending Olivia messages. "Imagine how we'd look together." Then, a month before my wedding, Marcus became bolder. After another business meeting, he offered to drive Olivia home. In the parking lot, he tried to take her hand. "Why go through with this wedding charade?" he asked. "Face it, you're playing in the wrong league. My brother's a good guy, but he'll always be just a middle manager." Final update: my golden child brother tried to ruin my wedding. My fiancée got revenge. "I could open doors to a real life for you," Olivia said, turning on her phone's recorder and feigning interest. "What about Victoria?" "With Victoria, everything turned into a show. All she cares about are her social events, charity balls, Instagram photo shoots. Our marriage is just a pretty picture for society. She plays the role of the perfect businessman's wife, and I play the loving husband. But it's all fake. With you, it could be something real." At the family dinner before the wedding, he gave a touching toast to my little brother, who had finally found his happiness. An hour later, he texted Olivia, "It's not too late to change everything. Think about your future." Victoria suspected nothing. On the contrary, she helped with the wedding planning, sharing contacts for florists and decorators. Marcus insisted on being my best man. "Who else but your big brother? It's tradition." Our parents were delighted. Finally, their son seemed so close. A week before the wedding, Olivia showed me everything she had collected: messages, recorded conversations, parking lot videos. "He thinks he can ruin our happiness, like he's ruined everything else in your life," she said. "It's time to show everyone his true face." The wedding day started perfectly. Olivia looked stunning in her dress. Victoria helped with the final touches, taking photos for Instagram with the hashtag perfect family wedding day. Marcus stood next to me during the ceremony, holding the rings and smiling for the cameras. During the celebration, the best man speech moment arrived. Marcus stood up, raised his glass, and began, "Dear guests, today is a special day, a day when my little brother." That's when the screen behind him came alive. His first message to Olivia appeared, then the second, the third, screenshots of late-night calls, parking lot videos. "Face it, you're playing in the wrong league. Everything could be different with you. It's not too late to change everything." The silence in the hall was deafening. Victoria slowly stood up, but she didn't create the scene everyone expected. She just looked at Marcus with disgust. "So, that's why you were so interested in Olivia's law firm lately? That's why you insisted on their contract?" Her father, always the composed businessman, broke his usual calm. He simply stood up and left the hall. Everyone knew his silent anger was worse than any shouting. Marcus went pale. Without his father-in-law's support, his business wouldn't last long. Mom covered her face with her hands. Dad, who had always defended Marcus, just stared at the floor. For the first time in their lives, their golden child couldn't talk his way out of this. Marcus tried to salvage the situation. "This isn't what you think. Olivia misunderstood everything." He tried to play it off. "We're family. This was just friendly communication." Victoria removed her wedding ring and placed it in front of him. "We'll talk later. My lawyer will contact you then." She simply turned to the guests. "Sorry for the scene. Please continue celebrating." Marcus stood there, stunned. For the first time in his life, his charm couldn't save him. For the first time, everyone saw his true face. Marcus quietly left the hall. Guests whispered, but quickly returned to celebrating, opening new champagne, and turning the music back on. Update, 1 week later. Everything happened quickly and quietly. No scandals or drama. Victoria hired one of the best divorce attorneys. Her father terminated all contracts with Marcus's restaurants. My brother moved to a hotel, looks like for a long time. Update, 3 months later. Marcus was trying to save his business, but without his father-in-law's connections, things were going badly. Victoria threw herself completely into working at her father's company. For the first time, our parents didn't know how to defend their older son. Olivia and I returned from our honeymoon, trying to forget this whole story. Update, 1 year later. Marcus sold his restaurants and moved to another city. Victoria took charge of a new project in her father's company. Our parents started treating me differently. For the first time in my life, Olivia and I are expecting a baby. Final update. Stop saying we destroyed the family. Marcus did that himself. We just showed the truth.